The story begins in another world called Alphagard. There exists a supreme demon lord who's mastered magic combat. He has won every war against the combined force of all the races of this world and conquered each and everything, making him the sole ruler there. Now the demon lord is seen sitting on the dismembered head of a giant. He has pointy elf-like ears and long black hair. He dons a black jacket and black pants with a pair of black and red shoes. In his background and surrounding area, many dismembered parts and dead bodies of all existing there. Both human and non-human are scattered on the ground. The demon lord wears a smug look on his face and comments that this was the World Allied Army and defeating them was easy. His claim is not just a bluff because he is totally unharmed and there's not even a single cut on his body. At that time, a bright light shines in the sky. The demon lord looks up and his eyes light up as he sees an army of angels descending from the heavens. The demon lord comments that he never thought God would directly intervene in matters of the mortal world. An angel, Seraphim Michael, the leader of all angels, tells him that they are here to end his tyranny. Michael raises his hand and orders his subordinates to attack. All the angels rush forward to attack the demon lord. The demon lord easily fights off the angels, then Michael launches a giant energy attack toward the demon lord, and they both begin to fight. Their high-stake battles equally match and last for about 3 days. In the end, the demon lord is the victor, and Michael is seen lying on the ground in pretty bad shape. In the meantime, the captain of the demon army, Ishtar, arrives there along with the demon army. She has rebelled against the demon lord. She quickly puts her heel on Michael's chest and he disintegrates. The demon lord asks what is her goal that she rebelled against him. Ishtar reveals there is no one to defeat him, even if she would have tried before she couldn't. But now as he's in bad shape, he can be defeated and then Ishtar will rule the earth and the sky. The demon lord starts to laugh at this mockery, but Ishtar says that even for him, it will be over if he dies. There is a chance that the demon lord possesses the secret techniques of reincarnation, which is a myth. But as long as he can't perform it, he's at a loss. The demon lord laughs at Ishtar and she is baffled, because he is surrounded by the demon army and is weak right now. She then orders the demon army to get it over with before the demon lord can heal. The demon army attacks him and he fights back but ends up losing. He lies on the ground missing a leg and an arm covered in blood. Thousands of swords rain down on him and impale him, and Ishtar laughs hysterically. As he dies, he calls out to Ishtar saying she is foolish to think he can't do a mere thing as reincarnation. He is seen lying on the ground fully healed with a bright shiny sky above. Suddenly, the scene shifts to another place in Tokyo where dungeons start to appear randomly in cities of this world. Near a dungeon, a Cyclops is causing chaos. The Cyclops is marked a danger level A and is a disaster level threat. The military is fighting it, but bullets do not have an effect. The military even shoots a missile at him, but he comes out unscratched and unaffected. People start to run and a small girl trips and falls. The Cyclops comes very close to the terrified girl and raises his axe to attack the girl, but a sword stops his attack. A man with black hair and red eyes stopped the Cyclops and picked up the girl. He is wearing a red jacket, gray pants, and black long shoes. He then jumps and slashes Cyclops with his sword. Cyclops is cut in 2 pieces from his waist. The little girl thanks the man who is an S-ranked hunter. The monsters that appear from dungeons are protected by a special barrier, and high-ranking monsters are not affected by normal weapons. Along with dungeons, humans who can fight the monsters also appeared, and they were called Awakened. These awakened heroes go into dungeons and fight monsters. Somewhere in a room in an orphanage, a boy is watching a TV. He's a very weak level 1 F-ranked hunter. His name is Hiroto and he is bullied because of being weak. He starts to cry and remembering all the bullying. A phone kept near him blinks and an app named Demon King application starts getting installed on his phone. In a flashback, Hiroto is seen protecting a girl named Yuzuki from bullies. He later explains to her that their orphanage exists so he can send a student with a high aptitude to hunter school. At 12, Yuzuki's aptitude test was conducted and she was given S rank. Things changed after that and Yuzuki became confident, and then she's seen protecting Hiroto from bullies. Then Yuzuki was sent to hunter school earlier than others, and while leaving she told Hiroto she can't protect him anymore. She said the weak have their own way of living and asked him to live wisely. Hiroto knows that she was showing kindness by saying weak, but it was like a knife to the heart for Hiroto. In the present, Hiroto is part of a team being sent to explore the exploration training dungeon for beginning hunters. And it is a training that future hunter school students must do. Inside, the 2 main damage dealers, the apprentice swordman and apprentice axe user, demand that they divide the reward in the ratio of 9-to-1. A fellow member who is a thief objects and is beaten by the axe user for that. Hiroto is about to intervene but remembers what Yuzuki said and he stops. The swordsman stops the axe user as the thief is the only one who can pick the lock of treasure boxes. They proceed and are ambushed by goblins that the damage dealers kill. Haruto and the thief speak about how without combat skills they are useless, and these two damage dealers are amazing. Because of the rank difference, the difference is not only in power and aptitude, but also in gross speed. Lower ranked people also grow a lot slower. After beating the monsters, the damage dealers get angry at the magician for her slow support speed. Haruto compliments the thief for standing up to them earlier and apologizes for not being able to help. The thief understands and tells Haruto he needs money to create a non-profit hunters guild, as the current hunter guild who work for money do not care about the poor people. The potion that drops in dungeons has magical healing properties and can heal many diseases. The thief's sister died of one such disease and could have been saved, but she didn't get the potion because they were poor. Haruto is impressed by him and asks his name and tells him his name as well. The thief's name is Akira Tachibana. Akira is called by the swordsman to open the chest they found in the goblin's nest after defeating all the goblins. He tries it and the swordsman asks him to hurry while he's being careful not to trigger any trap. The swordsman says there's no trap in a beginning level dungeon. As the rest of the party rests and drink water, Haruto thinks that this place should not have any traps. The dungeon is being used as a training zone because no one has ever died in this. But suddenly, a trap is activated and leads to Akira being stabbed with multiple swords and other weapons. Akira drops dead and the ground starts to crack open and the team falls into it. When Haruto gains consciousness, he looks around and finds Akira dead. He realizes how easily people die in dungeons and how he will be treated for being weak, and soon he will meet the same fate. The damage dealer discusses how the floor fell apart without any consideration for Akira's death. When the magician cries, the axe user hits her and tells the team to shut up, as Akira was a weak thief that died by himself. At most, they lost a treasure box they couldn't open, and their fighting power didn't change at all. He says they can get out by using the magician's support magic to send him back to the upper floor, and then he can pull the others out. He asks Haruto for the rope, and they proceed with his plan. While heading out, the magician keeps crying and thinks why this beginning dungeon has a trap. Healer explains that it can be a dungeon paradox. It is a process in which the difficulty of a dungeon turns weird, and it happens to a dungeon every several years. Swordsman says it is like a traffic accident, and he is glad that one died as he was useless. Haruto is deeply affected by Akira's death, and seeing Swordsman call Akira that one makes him sadder and more furious. As the team proceeds, the healer steps on something, and suddenly many Silver Fang wolves materialize. Silver Fang has difficulty level D, and they are far out of league for Haruto's team damage dealers. The dungeon paradox is also called the chain paradox, meaning explorers will be subjected to a chain of attacks. The damage dealer remembers the fact that Silver Fang attacks the weakest on the team. First, they decide to use Haruto as a bait and run the other way. They do as they planned and run away, leaving Haruto to be slaughtered by the Silver Fangs. Haruto's fears become true, and Silver Fangs jump to slaughter him. He thinks the world is unfair, weak, robbed, and killed. Even Yuzuki judged him to be weak, and he wants to be a protector and strong. But now he's dying. Silver Fangs jump at him and bite him. They slaughter him and tear his limbs off. Suddenly, the phone line near him turns on and his blood falls on it. It's actually Haruto's blood that activates the Demon Lord app when it falls on the phone. It analyzes his soul and detects a strong desire to be strong. It connects to his soul and character stats like when you appear on the screen. Haruto's HP bar goes from 0 to full, which is 72. A skill by the name of Lifelinker appears on his screen and is on a cooldown of 180 seconds. He wakes up to see that he's healed up and Silver Fangs have disappeared. He tries to make sense of what has happened and how he healed up so quickly. When he picks up his phone and sees the Demon Lord app, but he does not remember downloading it. He sees the blood on the screen and wipes it. He thinks it was a dream, but he is alone, which confirms it isn't a dream. He realizes he's been abandoned in his team now, and he needs to get to safety. He picks a road on which dead goblins are lying and thinks other heroes already dealt with them. As he proceeds, a goblin who is playing dead wakes up and jumps on top of him. The goblin is missing one arm. The goblin starts to beat him, and he gets very angry as he thinks he's even weaker than a weak goblin with a single arm. The goblin gouges his eyes out. The cooldown touches 0 and the skill is activated. A Lifelinker skill is a 24-hour limited continuous skill and shares Demon Lord's life force based on the effect of Lifelinker. Haruto's eye that goblin gouged out heals, and then Haruto pokes the goblin's eye with his fingers. He then picks up a stone lying nearby and beats the goblin to death, and this earns an achievement in the app. The skill Demon Lord of Gluttony activates and the goblin is consumed by the Demon Lord. This increases Haruto's HP and attack power. He is surprised to see this and does not understand how this is all possible, and what more abilities he possesses now. The interface hovers like a hologram in front of Hiroto and wonders what it is. As he's wondering, he thinks that something is waiting for him in the shadows around the corner, and he wonders how he knew without seeing. It feels like all his senses are becoming sharp, and he feels the danger. He turns and spots an orc and uses the stone he's holding to attack it. His ambush succeeds, but it is not advantageous as orcs are danger level E, while goblins are level F. He then fully attacks the orc from an advantageous position and beats him. The skill Demon Lord of Gluttony activates, and same as the goblin, the orc is consumed by the Demon Lord. This leads to Hiroto getting XP and his level rising from 2 to 3. His strength increases as well, but he still does not understand the interface. He soon realizes his strength is high and tests it by crushing the stone he is holding and is surprised by the results. He plays around with the interface window and tries to understand it first. So if Hiroto is encountered by any monster, it activates the skill Demon Lord of Gluttony and gives him bonus stats. As orcs and goblins are muscle-type monsters that boost strength, and many monsters with different classes increase different stats. He gains another level and is now in level 4. He knew from games that he plays which quickly gives a person level ups, but increasing 2 levels this fast excites him. He decides to enter the deepest part of the dungeon, but he can't access it without permission. He makes up his mind that he will at least defeat a Silver Fang there, as he thinks a new quest appears. A 10-second timer appears indicating the time before the start of the quest.